So heat 1 here for Hawaii Pacific, a 10.00 difficulty. So the most difficult routine you can get. Nicole Psyche is on top. A little shaky on the dismount there. Psyche is senior from Honolulu. Good 1-2 there to finish it off.
Yeah, 1-2, meaning you go from 1 base down to 2 as they both help her there on the dismount. And a 1-1 would be if the base there just drops her straight down, as you see Nicole Psyche. And
so that's a 1-1.
Right.
When the second base comes in, it's a 1-2, meaning 1 top, 2 bases.
See, there's what I'm talking about with the fundamentals. You're going to see this all happening kind of simultaneously during the team event down the stretch. Right now, it's a test of how detailed and how perfect you can execute these different elements, exactly what we were saying, of what's going to be the team element down the stretch, team event, excuse me, worth 110 points. So, yeah, right now, Hawaii Pacific is down by 0.6, but that is nothing compared to how many points are left here in this meet. Still a lot to be determined.
But at the same time, it can still determine an event and ultimately a meet. Reiterating again that it was just a 0.3 difference that Hawaii won against Azusa Pacific on Monday. So we just have the first event, or first heat I should say, of the Acro event. And Oregon also with a 10.0 starting value here in the Acro. Let's get out of the way. Both teams with a 10.0 starting value in all 3 heats in the Acro. So the highest difficulty. We talked about it in the opening, Chris, but you look at it up and down, and it's no surprise Oregon's starting point values are a lot higher than Hawaii Pacific, and that's kind of just how Oregon functions in their strategy.
Yeah, and as you just saw on the screen, doesn't mean Hawaii Pacific can't compete. They're only down by 6.6. They're right in it. If they can execute their techniques just as well as Oregon, who might be a little bit more complicated, they're going to be just fine. This is a meet that was determined by about 2 points last year. No reason to believe it won't come down to that once again.
Mackenzie Reagan was the top there, now a new top for Oregon. It's Natalie James. Beautiful.
You can hear Oregon fired up about that one. A lot of excitement there. A nice heat for the Ducks.
Look at the dismount. Clean, no extra steps from her or the base. And then here James. Going to get deducted a little bit for those feet up at the top. Not fully together and vertical, but clean through. No extra movement from the base, no extra movement on the dismount either.
Yeah, you already saw Reagan clapping on the floor there as that one was going on. They are happy with what they saw.
He isn't.
Ah.
Come on. Yeah, there we go. There's the
There
smile. Again, he's Chris Clayton. I'm Zach Bigley. Happy to have you along
Well,
wherever
I'm
you're watching.
not the kid in the stands.
No. This guy talking next
Yes.
to me is Zach. Are you Zach Bigley? I'm Zach Bigley. He's
Yes,
Chris Clayton.
that's correct.
There we go. Happy to have you along wherever you're watching on Twitter. Pac-12 Plus stream here at the University of Oregon. So we move on to heat number 2 here in the Acro event. This is the 6-element Acro. Hawaii Pacific going to start us off here in the second heat.
So we're looking for no movement and no steps from the base. You saw a little bit of shaking from Oregon. Oh, that was beautiful. You saw a little bit of shaking from Oregon, but that's okay. You know, maybe a little bit of a small deduction, but as long as you don't have any steps and not a ton of movement, you're going to get a darn good score.
That was Michaela Garland, the first top there. This is Kiana Roosevelt. That's pretty clean. Straight legs, now looking for a clean dismount, came through. Hawaii Pacific's fired up. They should be.
It's unbelievable to watch, Zach. It never fails. The amount of strength that these elements require. And there's that first dismount there. That was absolutely beautiful. And then similar to Oregon's, feet a little bit closer together there for Garland. Hawaii Pacific going to be really pleased with that.
Again, our score right now very close after the compulsory round. 38 to 38.6. Oregon is out in front. Hawaii Pacific and Oregon matched up last year in the lowest scoring meet of the season for Oregon, and also one of the lower ones for Hawaii Pacific. Oregon did win by a very small margin. Only scored 267.555 though. So here's Oregon. It's Cassie Jackson. Wants to be more straight up there on that landing. Krista Phillips, the base. Misha helps out. Let's think about Oregon. So much versatility. That's going to be a deduction. Wasn't up high enough.
Yep. Got to hold him for 3 seconds. Obviously not what Oregon was looking for on that heat. But you see Oregon continuing to stay positive. You've got to, talking to some of these athletes yesterday, got to stay positive, got to just keep moving forward because these meets go so fast. You're constantly shuffling in and on to the next event. If you really dwell on one of your mistakes, really in any sport, but especially in a sport like this, it takes so much concentration and focus, you're going to really let it affect your scores. So you just got to kind of move on. Your teammates trying to keep you loose. These athletes have trained hours, reps after rep on a move like this, which you see Oregon did not execute like they would have hoped. Certainly they're capable. They just got to kind of mentally move on and try and move on to the next heat.
Talked a little bit about Keenan Wan, the head coach here for Hawaii Pacific. Former Duck, actually. Part of the inaugural year of this sport in 2010, and part of the team that won the NCATA National Championship in 2011 and 2012. She is a Hawaii native, though. Here's Heat 3 of the Acro event for Hawaii Pacific. Daisha Paulino, Haley Turner, Aaron Robbins, and Ashley Thomas out there on the floor for HPU. This is Daisha Paulino on top. Aaron Robbins the bottom. Daisha Paulino a little bit shaky on that dismount.
Well, that's why if you're Oregon, you weren't feeling terrible about yourself. I mean, typically there's going to be small mistakes like that, and now the teams are kind of neutral, if you will, in their small mistakes. And that was not a mistake. That was beautiful. So still, these two teams continuing to stay neck and neck. A small step there from the base. Overall, pretty clean heat. Not feeling great about themselves on that one, but Oregon already made a mistake, so there's a few points left out there on the table that Hawaii Pacific could give away and still be right there neck and neck.
And that's the one right there, an extra step, and you can see an extra step from the base there as well. That one's clean.